In this video lesson, you'll discover how to paint a still life in watercolor using the multi-layer painting technique.
This is the artwork I will have painted by the end of this video. If you feel your drawing skills need improvement, you can do that by taking a Drawing Academy online video course. In this course, you will learn how to draw whatever you see or imagine using traditional drawing techniques, with the necessary knowledge of such constructive drawing principles as linear and aerial perspective, rules of composition and proportions, proficient tonal rendering techniques, and much more. For this layer, I'm using Quinacridone gold paint from the Winsor & Newton paints range. It's a convenient mix of 3 pigments, red, violet and yellow, mixed into one paint by the manufacturer. I apply the tint of this gold paint using the saw wash technique. Numerous diagonal brush strokes look like teeth of a saw, hence the painting method's name. I cover the whole sheet with the same paint mix, without paying any attention to the drawing. This is imprimatura. Now, I'm using the burnt sienna paint, which has excellent permanence and is very transparent. This paint contains only one pigment, which takes its name, sienna, from the place it was sourced during the Renaissance period. Using a soft, natural hair mop brush from Escoda, I apply 3 pigments, one next to the other, quite randomly, and softly diffusing the borders between the colours, directly on the paper. This method is called the wet into wet variegated wash. A light tint of raw sienna will be used for the underpainting. I do a wash, wet into wet, preserving the light highlight in the middle of the vase. There are several rules you should keep in mind when doing multi-layer painting. One of the most important rules in watercolor is to paint from light to dark. Another watercolor painting rule you need to know is that it's better to start with paints that consist of dyes, or very finely ground pigments, and to finish painting an object by using paints that contain heavier and bigger particles of pigments. There is one more watercolor painting rule that is good to know, but not always easy to follow. It is better to start painting with warm colors and finish by glazing with cold pigments. Cold colors will look better when applied on top. A green color for vegetation always looks better if, instead of manufactured green paint, you mix your own green from yellow and blue pigments. I work on tonal values, from light tones to darker ones, keeping in mind that every apple is a sphere. As such, an apple's tonal values can be divided into 3 main groups: light, mid-tones, and dark values. Each of these 3 groups can be subdivided into 3 values. Light contains highlight, light, and local light. Mid-tones will have light halftone, middle halftone, and dark halftone, and, in turn, dark values can be subdivided into core shadow, form shadow, and accent. When the drapery has multiple folds and you'd like to depict it in a realistic manner, there is no one magic shortcut which will make it fast. You'd have to work on the tonal values of every fold. A maple leaf has a very intricate shape, and there is a method for drawing it realistically. This way is fully explained in the Drawing Academy online course. If you'd like to learn proficient drawing techniques that will enable you to portray whatever you see, think, or imagine, the Drawing Academy course will be very helpful in achieving your goal. Here is the finished piece. I hope you have learned new things about how to paint in watercolor.